Okay, so once the Google Doc is finished, and after you have scanned immunization records and any other thing that might have to go to the receiving school. For instance, if we have a physical exam for the student, that we scan to the school. If the student has any pertinent report cards or school information, that we scan to the school. It also is compiled into a green folder, which then is sent with the hard copies, the physical copies of the documents to the school as well. But we do try to scan as much as possible. The immunizations are really important to get scanned as soon after we see the family as possible, because the school nurse needs to look at the immunizations to make sure the student has enough immunizations to start school. And if the student does not, then that is communicated to us, and we will let the family know and try to help them schedule an appointment to get more immunizations. Generally, we try to figure that out before we even scan the immunizations, because what we do, or what one of the things that you will do, is walk up the copy of the student's immunization record to the front desk at the health department and ask them to have a look at it to see if the student has enough immunizations or whether we need to schedule an appointment. So that we do with every student, pretty much every student. It's not our job as part of the Welcome Center to determine if the student has enough immunizations to start school. That is done completely at the school. But we need to get those immunizations to them. The health department has clinics, walk-in clinics, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The other days, the health department makes appointments. Sometimes the appointments are pretty far out. That's why a lot of times it is better if the family can come in during the walk-in clinic days. But anyway, you'll get the hang of that as you get into it. Now, on my end, what I do is, after the Welcome Center profile is all done, then I make a copy of just a couple parts of it, the very first paragraph and then the end paragraph, and I put a link in this email to the full document. And this I'm going to send to whatever stakeholders at a particular school I need to send it to. So this student is a senior high student, and I put a little bit of info here. We didn't have a lot of demographic information on this student because the online registration was completed at Gish, so the student didn't come to us for whatever reason. They did the online registration at Gish, which probably means that the student wasn't caught, didn't get referred to us. So all we did was the testing. So when you open this document, the Google Doc that we just looked at, it is going to have a lot less information on it than it would normally have, because the student didn't come through us. So when you open it up, you can see a lot of NAs, because we don't have any of that information. So when the student doesn't come through the Welcome Center, we give the schools a lot less information, obviously, than if they did come through the Welcome Center. But nevertheless, we still always copy this first paragraph, and I put a little bit of additional information there, and then the last paragraph, and that is what makes up the email. I also attach to the email, if I have it, the results of the ELPA 21 screener. So this is the online student testing results, or sorry, the ELPA 21 screener. They do it online, but this is their testing results. So this is what I get from the website. This is what one of the score sheets looks like. And you can see it's here's the student's name, date of birth, grade, date taken, and this is his proficiency that came from this testing, and he is emerging. And the way it goes is proficiency not demonstrated. That is given to students who have no English and were not able to answer anything on the screener. Emerging is students that have a little bit of English. Progressing, these students usually are doing pretty well with their English language acquisition. And then proficient means that they do not qualify for any EL services. And we test in the 4 domains: listening, reading, speaking, and writing. And this student had a 2 early intermediate, and then the rest were 1s beginning on his scores. So this is attached to the email summary that goes to schools as well. Now, just as a matter of interest, to show you who gets these summaries, it's different for every school, but for the senior high, it is the main principal, the secretaries, the EL principal. I always include some people from admin in it. I always include the EL teachers, and in this case, it also has the nurse on it. And then you will always be on those emails as well. So it can be a pretty long list depending on, which school and how many people are associated with that school. So we try to get these summaries out within a day, or at the most 2 that we have seen the student. We try to get it out as soon as possible so the schools have as big a heads up that the student is coming as possible. Before I send this out, I also try to communicate with the school to get the start date for the student so that that can be included in this email. If I don't have it, then I put TBD, to be determined. And usually we have it. Gish, we never have it, because they determine the start date after the student has gone through counseling, and we do not schedule counseling for the student. That's done at Gish, and it's done in conjunction with their counselors. So after this email is sent, then I print it off. I print 2 copies. I put the original copy on top of a manila folder, and I put the second copy inside the manila folder. Okay, so here is an example of a manila folder, and I don't know how well you can see that, but it has, after I send it, then I make a notation on the manila folder. I put the date that I sent the email, and then my initials and OK, which means that the email has been sent. And then inside this manila folder, we keep copies of the information that we put inside the green folder. This manila folder we keep at our office at the Welcome Center, and we keep it in a filing cabinet, and we keep it for a year. And every once in a while, several times a year, a school will let us know that they did not receive the green folder through interdistrict mail. So then we can come back to this manila folder, recreate a green folder, or if the school has particular questions about information that we sent in the green folder, we can also refer back to this manila folder to find the answers that they need or get any information that we need. Okay, so that is pretty much what we do with the emails and the folders. And in the next video, we will talk about what we do now with this data that we collected and how we keep track of that on our Google Sheet. Okay, thanks so much.